Hi, welcome to this tutorial on exporting your Google Drawing. So when you are done with your Google Drawing, there are a couple things to be aware of if you want to take that drawing and you want to go use it somewhere else. So the first thing is the original file format of Google Drawings is Google Drawings. So in other words, this is not a sort of universal image file like a JPEG or a PNG. So if I go over here and I look at my Google Drive, we'll refresh this so we can see something we've been working on. You'll see that inside of your Google Drive, that when it shows up, it has the Google Drawings icon. And because that's a specific format or file format to Google. Now, that's not useful in adding images necessarily into other programs or maybe adding them to Google Slides, things like that, but it is useful in Google Classroom. And so one of the options for Google Classroom and some of the articles you see is a very popular way to use Google Drawings is with like drag and drop, map labeling, things where you would provide something for your students, maybe in the form of a template, and their assignment was to come in and to label or to move parts around, to do matching, things like that. And so you can actually, when you do that, when you go into Google Classroom, which we'll get up here, and you create an assignment, because it is a Google file format, we can do that when we create an assignment. We can give each student a copy. So we'll go to the class here. We'll pretend like we're going to make an assignment. We'll go to classwork. We're going to create an assignment. This is one of the cool features about Google Drawings that would be different, say, than another maybe graphic design program or drawing program. I can actually add a file from my Google Drive. I want to make sure I add it from Google Drive. That's how it pulls it as a Google Drive file. It should show up here in my recent since I've just been working on it. I'm going to add that. And I get the normal, if you're familiar with Google Classroom, the normal options. I can have my students view this. I can have them edit this, or I can actually make a copy for each student. So when I make a copy for each student gets the original version, and they can then edit it or mess with it however they want. And then they can turn it back into me because it's an assignment. So that's a really cool way to use Google Drawings once you're done. Again, think about those ideas from the articles you read and how you might use those. So that's one way that file format is useful. Most of the time, we want to insert this into something else. So we want to export that file out. So the easiest way to do that is to come over here and click File. And we want to download. And there are some options here. I can do PDF, JPEG, PNG, or the scalable vector. Now, keep in mind, I've done this. This hello is a hyperlink, and so is this picture of the dog. They're hyperlinked. So I'd like to show you something here. When I come in and I use it, and let's say I want to make it a PDF, because I want those hyperlinks to stay active, right? So I can download that. We're going to show in that. I'm going to go ahead and open this PDF so that you can see. So here's my sample drawings. It's now a PDF. When I open that now, here's the PDF. Those hyperlinks now you can see I transition from the select tool to the active tool. So when I click on those hyperlinks inside this PDF, they're still active. It effectively becomes a hyperdoc. So there, that takes me to ESPN, or this here would take me to the American Kennel Club. So that's a really good way to use your hyperlinks and your buttons. So you can actually put hotspots in there and then use a PDF, share that in Google Classroom, share that with other people. If you're not using Google Classroom and those links still stay active and it's not editable. The other option then would be to come here and download as these are the two that are the most popular, the JPEG or the PNG. If you want and you have a transparent background, I would make sure that you use the PNG. That will keep the transparency. That way when you use it, if you want to drop it into, say, a doc or a slide, all right? So let's say I'm going to come here and I'm going to download this as a JPEG now. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and I can then copy this to the clipboard if I want. Let's say I come in here and now I can do, let's say I've got a Google Doc. I can insert that into my Google Doc, or I could do the same thing for Google Slides or Google Sheets. It is copied to the clipboard now, just like copying an image from like a Google image search, wherever you might be. You should be able then to right click and paste that image in. Once again, then I can resize it, adjust it as I need it. I could also then insert that image from my Google Drive because it would be saved, or I could save it in my Google Drive as well. PNG and JPEG effectively are the same thing. One's a little more friendlier with transparencies than the other. So that's exporting your Google Doc, or excuse me, your Google Drawing, as well as using your Google Drawing in Google Classroom. Thanks.